See, somehow this world will change for me and be so wonderful. Live life, breathe air, somehow we're gonna get there and be so wonderful.
I mean, thank you for the Carly intro. What?
Sorry, it's every time when you do the countdown before him.
As predicted.
I mean, it's a nice change. I told you it's okay to change it up.
For whenever thou hast need of
I
my
can't speak.
services.
Yeah. I had to change it up. No, genuinely, you just like when you count down, it reminds me of that every time. Because Freddie in the show will do like the
Should thou
and 5, 4.
perish, I will
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. I mean,
once more.
like I said, it's okay to change it up once in a while. I think that keeps it fresh. I feel like people will appreciate your singing talents.
Hey, you know, I put my heart and soul into that one, man. You can't be mad at that.
Because it is my
Yeah,
calling.
exactly.
There is little
And
else
welcome
to
everybody to the DawnCast. Sorry about that weird little iCarly tangent, but you know, sometimes you gotta do that. Today we're going to be talking about 4 huge gaming fails of 2023, which, I mean, it's probably more than 4, but these 4 definitely stick out, like, especially with how recent they are, and then they're probably the worst of the year. I would say especially, like, the one with the Unity stuff, like, that's just awful, but we'll get there. So, yeah, like, I mean, the first one we're probably going to get into today is the PlayStation Plus increase of like what is it, $20 for the base one, and then I think the other ones increased too. I'm not too sure on the other ones because honestly I don't do those ones, but I do know they did increase. Like,
Yeah, I was curious about that. Is it just the year subscriptions that went up, or is it the monthly too?
it's all of them.
Because I know, like, when you buy them for a year, it's going up to like $20 more per. But I was wondering how that affected the actual, like, if you buy it one a month.
I think that went up slightly because what is it, like $9.99 or whatever? I think it's like going to be like $12 or something now.
That would make sense. That would fit with the price range you would expect.
I find it to be unnecessary, like an unnecessary change, mainly because they're not offering any new services. It's not like Xbox where we're getting like a Game Pass or like, you know, some kind of cloud streaming. No, you're just getting the same service you've been getting since PS3. For $20 more for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, no, it definitely, like, at that point you just kind of need to throw in like PS Now with it or something. If you're gonna do
Like
that.
something, or even like, I don't know, tack on a couple extra free games a month. Something.
Yeah.
Because you're literally asking people to pay for more and the quality of the service doesn't go up or change.
Which honestly, I'm still not the biggest fan of the tier system, having different like levels of PS Plus.
Of the membership, yeah, no, that the whole tier system thing is stupid. I think if you're just gonna do it, just do it straight up like Xbox does it. I'm not saying, in the sense of like Xbox versus PlayStation that one's better than the other. I'm strictly talking about their like monthly subscription thing. They're like,
no, yeah, and it's crazy because if you look at like even the top subscription service, I don't think actually compares to Game Pass in any like genuine way.
You are gonna find the wizard who gave us the
no, yeah, it's like, I feel like Sony's just been really anti-consumer.
Treasures beneath a pile of goblins.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they're just basically sitting there like asking you to spend more money on all this stuff, and like they don't really offer anything extra.
Yeah.
Because since the PS3, it's gone up. Like, what was it? It was free on PS3. PS4 it started at 40, then it went to 50, then it went to 60, I think. Or I think it started at 50 and then it went to 60. And then now it's going up again, but from PS4 to PS5, like they really have added nothing.
No, yeah. And that's wild because then you look at Xboxes, like, and like it was kind of the same thing. It was since Xbox existed, they've had the whole Xbox Live, and it's been the same thing the entire way through until they like sent out Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. And now Game Pass Ultimate is kind of taken like the spotlight of like what you purchase. Really, I don't know anyone who purchases just normal Xbox Live Gold.
There are people. It's weird. I don't know why they do it, but there are actually people.
But just comparatively, it's a very interesting strategy. Just keep raising and raising your prices. Which, let's be clear here, Xbox isn't completely innocent of this. They did recently also raise the price of Game Pass.
But they offered more stuff like day one releases, the better cloud gaming, like...
Yeah, I do have
Game
to give
Pass in
Xbox
itself is worth it.
Cloud gaming, because like I've never had a good cloud gaming experience until I started using the Xbox cloud gaming. It runs smoother than any other cloud gaming service I've used.
Apologies, your lordship. Hard making you out.
And it's a great way to test out games.
Of course. Move it, lads.
Yeah, it's... I don't know what their plan there is, especially with them coming out with that lame handheld on top of it. Like,
yeah, that's so disappointing. That could have been just as well like another topic we put here.
I mean, that could just be included out. It could.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, it could honestly be in its own. I don't know why I didn't include that. I guess I just didn't want to dogpile Sony.
But no, it's wild because it's like, hey, we're releasing a handheld, but you have to be within like 30 feet of your PlayStation 5.
You have to be at home. You have to be on your couch, so it's a Wii U tablet. No, but that's what it is.
It's a Wii U tablet that costs an extra like $300 for my already $500 console.
What do you need?
As the symbol glows, power courses through.
You want that, right?
Authority.
No, yeah, like why wouldn't you want a localized handheld? Sorry, I was reading the text. My bad.
Yeah.
Like,
no, and that is very stupid.
Oh my god, what a critical fail. Are you kidding me?
No.
Damn.
Something ain't right. You're not like the others.
No, it's genuinely, it's wild.
Why am I just critical failing over and over? Yeah, it's genuinely baffling though. Like, you're gonna raise your price.
Something ain't right.
You're gonna sit there and act like you're doing your like community a service, and then on top of it, just to like slap them in the face, you tease like a new handheld.
Afraid to take their eyes off you.
And everyone's like, oh my god, this is the next PSP, PS Vita, like we're finally getting another one, this is going to be awesome. And it's like, hey, it's just doing what your phone can already do, where it just displays your PlayStation screen on itself.
It's literally
By the way, you can just do that with your phone. Like, there's an app to do that.
If you pull the right lever on here, it flings the little guy, but I don't really want to kill him. No, it's like, yeah, you already offer remote play on my phone. Why would I even buy that thing? The only thing I could see is them disabling it, but then that's stupid if they disable it from mobile devices.
Absolutely. No, and I think they would get a bunch of outrage if they did do that. Like, why would you?
Well, get on with it.
It's, I don't know, Sony just doesn't make sense to me at all.
If you can find it.
Also, who is this actually for? Because who's going to be sitting on the couch like, man, I want to play my PlayStation, but I don't want to get up and turn on the PlayStation. I left my PlayStation remote over there.
That's basically what that's saying to me, like, just makes no sense.
Yeah, because it's like, you have to be essentially in the room with your PlayStation to do it. So it's like, what are you getting out of that? That's not good. It's not even handheld.
I'm going to say that, like, I think this still counts as 4 gaming fails if we're talking about it, because it's just Sony as a whole as a fail. Like,
God.
Like, this year Sony has just been taking a fat L, and, like, they're just a big gaming fail of 2023 on their own. They, like, just increase prices, don't offer anything good. Like, and that's someone who's been playing them since the PlayStation 1, and I'm just vastly disappointed.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, it's not like people can say like you're just like a Xbox fan, because you're literally playing this on a PlayStation right now.
Yeah, I'm playing on a PlayStation 5 right now. I don't even have the new Xbox yet. Hi, dog. I'm glad you just stormed in the room. But yeah, no, it's insane. Like,
Brothers, look here.
Absolutely
I
wild.
have eyed yet another prize. Fortune favors our bellies. Stranger, be you
I don't get
mean,
Sony's like stance. It's like, what do you want the fan base to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Because they keep like raising prices, but it's like, what are people who just are already buying PS Plus, who are just like, yeah, this is like, what do you think's gonna happen when those people who are like, yeah, this isn't too bad, I'll buy PS Plus just so I have it, and then like they raise the price, they're gonna be like, oh, this is costing me way more money, this isn't worth it anymore, I already have to pay way too much for like streaming services, and now this crap.
No, yeah, it's exactly like, I don't know. They want you to just keep throwing money at them, but it's like, why would I do that?
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna just keep throwing you money and then you're not gonna give me anything in return. Like, not to sound like that, but well, I failed that. I don't care. These guys suck.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna see like oh, what'd you try to do to these orcs? Like, what were you rolling for?
I don't know. I guess they're just hoping the fan base will, like, I think they think fanboys and stuff are strong enough to just keep. And even to an extent, I think Nintendo's made a lot of better moves than they have in the past. Granted,
Yeah,
you know, one of the
absolutely.
topics we're talking about today, I don't necessarily entirely blame Nintendo, although they're the ones that allow stuff like that to happen on their system, but we'll talk about
No,
that in
yeah,
a
but
minute.
at the end of the day, it's not fully Nintendo's fault. And I mean, like, I don't know how much more you want to stay on this topic. If you want to just go to that, we can, because
Yeah, because
know.
I think we said all we need to say. That, I mean, we can just finish that with Sony's pretty much taking an L this year, and they're highly anti-consumer, so hopefully they get better. They got all next year to get better. Next topic, and moving on to with Nintendo, and that is we're going to be talking about Mortal Kombat 1 on Nintendo Switch. Probably one of the worst Switch releases since WWE, what, 2K18, 2K19, whichever one it was.
It's pretty rough. No, yeah, it's just straight up like not optimized, which is annoying because like, how does it look worse than like the Mortal Kombat 11 game?
And that game looked pretty bad on Switch.
Like, how did they downgrade?
Careful.
It's like they were trying to run it at 60 FPS. I understand that, but like, it's not.
You were supposed to rush to my defense. Some advice. Bye bye now.
It's like, I don't know how to put it. They just wanted to rush it out, I guess, for Switch, and not actually try to like make a Switch version, because when you look at games like Alien Isolation, that game, the Switch version, they made like a full Switch version.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you joking? But not a
like, or you look at even like, what was it, Doom and Doom Eternal, like those games weren't perfect on Switch, but they got they did a good job on those games on the Switch versions. Like, they were given their own, like the Switch was given its own version. Where like this, it just seemed like they tried their hardest to downgrade the next gen or like the current gen version.
Yeah.
And like, that's not what it like ended up being, kind of thing, you know? Like it's like they tried, because I know they're trying to hold the 60 FPS, but then from what I've seen, it can't even really hold a steady 60 FPS.
Which is sad, because it looks like it's a PS2 game. nothing against the PS2 era, but
Yeah,
it
that's pretty
genuinely
sad.
just does.
It's like, I don't know how you could look worse than like the last game, and then like it's like the faces of the characters. I don't know if you've seen them. They're like superimposed. They look like a PS1 character, like those like SmackDown 2 models, where like it's a body with like a picture of somebody's face just glued over it. That's how they literally look.
I hope people know what we're talking about when we say like SmackDown 2 style.
Like, just think of PS1 games like Tomb Raider, WWE, any of those where like the character's face was like not a mold. It was like a head with a
placed on
picture placed on the head model.
Flat basis model.
Yeah, like just not good. And then they.
And it was always like super stretched out. And
there was what else? I don't know if you've seen the picture of Melina.
Oh, what was it with Melina?
Like there's a picture of Melina and it's her eating like doing the that fatality she does where she like bites your head off.
Yeah.
It's like her going to do that, but as she's going to do it, she they got a close up of her face and her face just looks like it kind of looks like the way it looks like, how do I put it? It looks like how it should kind of, but like in a tech demo way, like it's her, you clearly tell it's her, but everything just kind of looks cartoony and wrong. And then like her eyebrows don't even like show, they're like so like fuzzy and bad looking. They how do I put it? They like, it almost looks like someone just Crayola'd eyebrows onto a character.
That's great.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to, but don't worry.
No, and it really sucks, like, cause like I don't think I was gonna get it on the Switch, but like I've really been looking at Mortal Kombat 1 and past getting Call of Duty because I need to get that for content, which you never know, that might end up on a video with the same title at some point. But other than Call of Duty, like Mortal Kombat 1 was going to be my next purchase. So.
And then I just want to make it clear, we're not just complaining about the graphics. I should be clear about that. It's more the fact that they put it at a $70 price point, the same as the Xbox Series and PlayStation. Because if the game was like $30 and it looked like that, yeah, I'd be annoyed, but it'd be like, okay, but you're charging like half of what the game costs. But you're charging more than what a normal Switch game costs for a worse version.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, at that point, who's buying it on Switch?
You're not enticing anyone. You're going to have that handful of idiots who might actually buy it on Switch, but most people are just going to be like, no.
Because, I mean, other than, like I know there like families will, like, have a Switch and that's it. But it's like, not really anyone has a Switch and that's just the only console they own. Like...
No, yeah,
usually
I know a guy.
Like
I know a guy that's like that, and I don't think he would even shell the money out for that because it just doesn't.
No, yeah. Well, also just because like if their content, like if they're like, yeah, we're a Nintendo family, we love The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, and that's why we decided we're just gonna have a Switch. And it's like if you have someone like that, I doubt they're really gonna be into the newest Mortal Kombat to begin with.
Your friend has just heard the rumors of my people that we. I wish I had half.
I don't know who they're trying to appeal to, honestly. There, like you're not giving people the game they wanted or asked for. Like you can't keep a stable 60 FPS. The game looks like trash, and then you want like more than what a normal Switch game costs. And it's like, who is that made for? Who asked for that?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's like the concern is who asked for that? Like, why are we making this?
If you wish it, our path. I fear he's gone to ground.
A vampire spawn? Why?
It is a sacred mission from the
it's disappointing. Like, I don't know why they like released it in that state. I don't know who like. How do you put it?
I think more companies need to take like how Baldur's Gate approached like the Xbox like Series S release, where they're like, hey, we can't make this work, we're not releasing this unfinished, we're gonna work on this. And then like Xbox was like, hey, just release it on Xbox Series X, and you know, you can add in the like, split screen later for Series S.
Bro. Sorry, he just jabbed a dagger in somebody's eye. Just.
Well, there goes any chance of. Yep, that's age restricted.
It's fine. I mean, my things aren't, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna definitely age restrict. But hey, that was crazy, you know.
Like, but back to what I was saying there, where it's like more companies need to take that approach, where they're like, hey, until we get this fixed, we're just not releasing this on the console. We're just not doing this. And unless they find like a solution or a workaround, like they did, like Xbox did with Baldur's Gate there, they just shouldn't release it on that console until they fix it.
Now, if we're done.
Yeah, just take your time to finish your game. Like, what's the big deal?
Like, I get it. Like, you need, like, you want money. That makes sense. But like, you didn't have to release it on Switch immediately. I don't think anyone would have been shocked if they were like, hey,
if it wasn't a day one Switch release, like,
we're delaying Switch back a month or two to try to get things worked out and get it fleshed out.
Have some like graphical bugs, like.
We want to make sure it doesn't look like you're playing on the GameCube. So.
It looks worse than the GameCube, like.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because there's Mortal Kombat's on the GameCube that look better than that.
That's definitely just them not doing their job properly. I feel really like bad for anyone who actually played that.
I don't want a crumb left on that.
Yeah.
Like, who bought that or pre-ordered it. You know, anyone that actually put the money out, I really feel bad for you. And do your research. Always, like, never just jump on a purchase, especially on like when it's a game that's not meant for a console that it's being released on.
If it isn't the cheekiest,
no, absolutely.
Hells of an apology for me, young man.
Absolutely, it's like.
I don't think I did.
I just don't know how you get to that point where you have this game released on a console and it's so busted that it looks worse than like 5 console generations ago. How does that happen? How do you mess up that bad?
The choice is yours. There's really no good decision.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know why the Switch owners get put last for a lot of things.
I don't know. Maybe things will turn around when like the Switch 2 actually gets
I've had enough pampering.
like released.
And you, my door is always open, Petal.
They just like, it's like, I don't know why companies just absolutely hate. Why am I rotting here?
Why companies absolutely hate
like developing their games on the Switch properly, like the AAA ones at least.
What's hidden behind it?
I honestly don't know, like, why this happens so often. And I guess it is just kind of like we already developed the full game and it works on every other console, so we're just not going to bother with making it better for Switch because we just don't want to like make it work with a
we
less
already got the
powerful
money
system.
from everybody else.
Yeah. So like, we'll put it on Switch, that way people can't say we didn't do it, and then just have this half-broken game that not a single person's proud of sitting on this console.
Yeah, they really really dropped the ball with that game, and like I said, I think it's one of the worst Switch releases since WWE 2K released on.
And that's
Switch.
wild because that was just straight up not working.
And it still doesn't work.
Yeah, which I think it's now removed from the market, isn't it, or is it still on Switch?
No, I think they still sell it for full price, bro.
You know, that technically means that it's the only market to still have that wrestling game digitally marketed.
Yeah. Because I know, what is it? I think the only decent wrestling games they have on Switch are obviously, what is it, Wrestling Empire, and then I know they added I'm pretty sure AEW came out on that, and I think it did alright. There wasn't anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I saw it on Switch. Is Fire Pro not on Switch? Because that feels like a very Switch game.
I don't know, unless it's in the classic games. I've never seen a Fire Pro. I need to go on the Switch store. I haven't in ages. I really do need to go on there. That thing is a mess. Switch store is a mess. That could be its own topic one day. It's just messy storefronts, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Well, we could just place games on the Switch from the store that are bad.
Oh man,
that'd be there's no Fire Pro on Switch.
Why am
which
I
is
stuck
wild.
with flesh rot? How do you get rid of flesh rot? It's just a dice roll thing? Great.
Well, stop rotting so much.
It's because I want that stupid swamp. I hate that swamp. Yeah, I don't know. Not happy with that release, and hopefully, in the future, other companies learn, you don't need to rush products out, even on smaller platforms.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that we have to come to this point and see games still be fully messed up when releasing on Switch, because it's I feel like we've seen this so many times with different games where there'll just be a version that comes out that's absolutely garbage on Switch and it works fine on other consoles.
If it's not on Switch, they release a bad version on PC, or they'll release it'll work fine on Switch and PC, but and PS5, but for some reason Xbox, they always have one platform they just completely botch it on.
Yeah, and it's how does that happen? And I'm not gonna pretend I know anything about game development. Or, maybe it is super finicky to get things to work between consoles, but it doesn't feel even if it is that way, just don't release it on the console you're messing up on. Just don't. Just
if you can't make a good working version, just scrap it.
And if you are going to release it on there, release it for cheaper than the other versions if you know it's worse.
Yeah, not for more. Well, it's not more than the other versions, but it's more than a normal Switch game. Even if it did work fine, it still wouldn't look any better than a last gen game.
Yeah.
Oh
man, I love playing, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance on my Switch.
I love playing Mortal Kombat 4 on N64 on my Switch. That game would probably look better.
I love playing Mortal Kombat 1 on my Switch. But the original Mortal Kombat, not
God, that's just tragic.
That's why it's called Mortal Kombat 1.
It's literally just the first game.
Could you imagine? You pay $70 and it's just a port to the first game. That would have kind of been funnier. If they had just done that instead
I just don't get why, okay, side note, I don't get why when they...
chuckle out of me, at least.
Can we be honest, can we talk about why wouldn't you include the actual, first game in that game's, as a bonus for buying it?
You should unlock it in the crypt. There should be somewhere in the crypt you unlock the...
or imagine they make it's like Mortal Kombat 1, but it just has the roster from this game in it, so you don't only have,
cool.
The only reason I say this is because if you ever played original Mortal Kombat 1, I think there's
only 5 or 6
because it's Sonya...
Because it's Sonya, Johnny,
Liu Kang,
Sonya,
Scorpion,
Johnny,
Sub-Zero...
Scorpion, Sub-Zero, yeah.
And Kano, yeah. I know you
main
said
candle,
camp.
so there's like
Yeah.
7.
And then you could unlock,
hidden reptile.
yeah, you could unlock reptile.
So like 8 in total.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think we've said mostly all we can about how just like bad that release and that is. And I think with that topic, we can easily transition into the next game, which is another just underdeveloped bad release. And even though me and you don't really play these games, I used to play them. Like, I played, especially the 2011 release. I played that game a lot. NBA, like the 2K series, 2K24, from just what I've seen, the game is just an absolute mess.
Wait. Are you telling me that the developers 2K released a game that was unfinished, a mess, and just not worth purchasing?
I know, right? What a shock. But this is like...
I've never heard of them doing something like this
and
before.
This is like on that level of WWE 2K20 where it's just bad. There's no like like this. I could almost see the NBA asking them to do what WWE did and just asking them to cancel the next game because
yeah. I think that was honestly the right call for WWE after that monstrosity.
it was, and I don't know, because NBA, at least, like, the thing with NBA was that was their baby. They at least tried to, like,
no, yeah, you could always tell that they always put, like, more love into the NBA series than they did the WWE series.
And they just put no love into this game. This game is just, like, it looks like they basically tried to do what they kind of did with 2K20, although I know it's not the same case, where they just basically, like...
Did they lose a development team? Like, did they? Did they lose a development team?
I don't know, yeah, because it seems like...
Because that's what happened with 2K20, is they lost Hughes.
I don't know, because I'm pretty sure Visual Concepts still makes, and that's like their own in-house developer.
Yeah.
Because that's who makes WWE also, and it's just, it's weird, like, you would think with that game, because, I don't know, I feel like they knew people were going to buy it regardless, but it's just like, if you know it's not done, like, because even, you know, I was talking to Chaz earlier about it, and he was saying, like, oh, is the game out already? You know, and I was just like, yeah, it's out already, and he was even shocked, so it seems like they released it even a little earlier than normal. So it's like, if you usually release that later, why didn't you just take the full amount of time? And even if the game came out a little bit, like I think anything compared to what it released at would have been better. Even if it was like, they still had like 2/3 of the bugs it has now, it still would have been a much better release than what they released it at. Like,
no, yeah, and it's like back to the same like logic of like, how are you about to release a game that's messed up? That's that messed up, and this time not even have it be that scenario on like just one console. Like, this is just everything. It sucks on every console. Like, if you go and look at the reviews, they're all 1-star reviews. Like, no one's enjoying this game.
and it's not that they're like mad that it's, you know, it's not like in the case of like FIFA on Switch, where it's literally a rehash every year. Like, it's just the case of like they literally just released a broken game to the point where like literally does not work.
No, yeah, and like it's hard not to point at 2K20 as a shining example of them doing this before, but because it's like, you know, obviously they're both 2Ks, like they're both 2K releases. So, like, this isn't even technically the first time they've experienced something like this. Which is kind of worrisome, because it's like, did you not learn from last time?
Yeah, it's like they don't even like, they didn't even bother to try and like...
You know what the next move is?
What's that?
To release a trashier cartoon version of the game. And somehow, like, make it even worse than the already broken game.
They're gonna make a trashy cartoon version, and in the cartoon version, you have to, like, pay to unlock people who should have just come with the game already.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron James is gonna be, like, behind a paywall.
Absolutely. What else are you gonna do? Like,
well, they already kind of do that with that like card game because they have like they have their own like kind of version of My Faction. It's called My Team, and I know they charge a lot of money for that. Like, and that's the other thing is like, you know, they're gonna have predatory like microtransactions. Like, you can't even finish the game, and you think people are gonna want to pay you for microtransactions?
Jesus. I mean, I think they did the same thing with 2K20 though, didn't they? Like, where it was just immediately.
Well, okay, to be fair, the redeeming quality of 2K20 were the, like, at least the DLCs for that game were good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if you remember, it did have good DLCs, like the Bump in the Night stuff, and like... God, this is not working out.
To be fair, you're trying to hide in the middle of a room with, like, people.
Yeah, but I've done it on other characters where I hide right here, and I'm able to poison that, and then they drink it and die.
Okay.
It's just you have to angle yourself right, because if you do it right, you're just out of their line of sight. See, I'm not in their line of sight. That's why it's like, who sees me? Stop doing that. I keep doing the wrong move.
I don't need any attention right now. If everyone else minds their business, it'll be fine.
God damn it. I'm gonna have to wait for the right moment. No, and it's just ridiculous. Like, it literally is like the mirror of 2K20. Like, the like, I don't know. I feel bad for anyone who's gonna buy that game, especially because they're charging like $70 again, and like, it's like I'm starting to get to the point where it's like I feel like if like your game releases and it's only 30% done, you can only charge 30% of whatever the price is.
Yeah, I agree, honestly, and I can't wait to see like the Spider-Man meme or something where it's like 2K20 playing at NBA, you know. Like, I can't wait for when we get those memes and stuff, because like that's what's gonna happen. It's the scenario all over again.
No, it is.
And it's wild that they've repeated history, and
like they learned nothing.
But hey, maybe what happened is they were like, instead of focusing on NBA, they just put all their thought processes into WWE this year. So the next WWE game is going to be great.
My thought was, and this is probably not correct, is I like, because the WWE 2K20, it's a known fact that a lot of the development like issues there was them losing a development team.
Yeah.
And then the other issue was what was it? Them pulling resources from the game to put into Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Because they were trying so hard to make Borderlands 3 like the next big game.
Yeah.
As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
Deception.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, no. And so, like, I don't know. I'm glad I don't buy those games, but I also know how those people feel after 2K20, just knowing that,
absolutely. Like on one hand, it's like we can't speak on like playing NBA games, but like we can 100% speak on having this happen before. Like, we experienced this straight up.
We literally dealt with it with WWE 2K20, so we completely understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do what we have to do, then get good.
But if I've learned anything from 2K20, it's that the modding community is going to go wild with this game.
I already explained myself.
I don't know, like, because I saw a picture, like, do you remember the picture of, like, when 2K20 released or whatever, and it was, like, Becky Lynch, but she was just, like, a hair with teeth?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently they had something similar with, this game where I saw, like, somebody, and it was just, like, their head, and then, like, their eyes and mouth were all in the wrong spot, and, like, their body was doing some weird stuff, like, the arms weren't correct, and almost like...
I should rephrase what I said. The modding community is about to go wild with the game released before this one, not this one.
Yeah, no. Like, I guess that's the only other thing with 2K20 is at least the modding community did fix that game.
Yeah, well, no, because the modding community, instead of like worrying about 2K20, they just made 2K19 better.
No, but some of them did, because I saw there were people who released patches that actually like fixed it, like they got it working really well on there. And remember, it was also the problem with the game was also the system.
Goblins aren't known for their cleanliness, but that is most gratifying to hear.
Yeah.
May I?
But I just remember there was a lot of like you found a bunch of mods on 2K19 after that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I just don't see this game having a strong community, and I'm tired of developers just releasing like broken games and then fixing it later. Like, just release the game, you know? Like, you don't need to release a broken game and then, oh, we'll fix it later. No, just release the whole game at once.
Well, the issue is every time it's one of these companies that do this, there's still a whole lot of people who buy the game. And in reality, what needs to happen is people need to stop pre-ordering things. Never pre-order things. Wait
after
for
2K20.
people to talk about the game, then purchase games.
There's some stuff where it's like, okay, like, I feel like there's some games where like if the developer's being really open about what's in it and stuff, you could definitely pre-order. You know, like I'm saying, if the guy who made Stardew Valley, his new game, he starts, you know, talking about it beforehand, because I feel like he'd be the type to really show you kind of what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna buy that game.
That's a game where like I feel like, you know, pre-ordering is kind of a safe bet, but yeah, there's a lot of games where it's like, man, just don't pre-order,
like,
especially annual.
Yeah, but no matter what happens with the next game, like the Haunted Chocolate Factory, I'm going to be playing that for at least 100 hours, on minimum. There's no world I don't see myself covering at least 100 hours on that game.
No, exactly. It's disappointing to see that there's AAA developers in the way of like we said with Mortal Kombat 1 on Switch, or with this, where they're still just releasing broken games in 2023, and like their whole thing is like, well, the community will be fine with it, like they're not gonna care.
Yeah, how, you know, our community won't care that we're giving them literal garbage to play. They won't care that we're giving them the worst experience imaginable to play. They'll just do it. They'll
just play the game anyway because they love it.
Do it.
Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
That the jingle already turned quite the profit today. So I'm feeling generous.
Feeling generous, huh?
Feeling generous? You wanna take that kid's stuff?
That's like that's not a kid, that's like I don't know, I think she's a gnome, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I figured. I was just fucking around. Sorry,
I'm just looking at what she has. I might grab some stuff, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just disappointed with, like, even though I don't play the NBA games, like, it's just disappointing to see 2K just following the same trends, like.
Absolutely. And just knowing that this is like a mistake they've made before. Like this is like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, wait, how's that work? Fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. I don't know the way that works. You know what I'm going for. Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And like, yeah, that's
I got there eventually. It's like we eventually are just going to have to learn from this situation. Like, people who are in these like 2K community and stuff, just don't pre-order their games.
Don't pre-order anything, like, not until you actually see gameplay or something come out of it, because apparently they just don't.
Yeah.
Like, and make sure it's a good amount.
Was, like, yeah, absolutely. And, like, I understand if, like, you're a content creator, you're like, I have to get, like, footage of this right away, and you have the money to spare. Like, I'm not mad at you for, like, spending your own money. Like, spend your money on whatever you want. But just anytime you do this, you are supporting a company making garbage.
And my thing is, if you're gonna do that, like you're gonna support, you know, you're gonna support like another company or whatever, or like you're gonna support these companies, and you are a content creator, then at least warn your community about what they're getting themselves into, and then let you know.
Give honest reviews, absolutely.
And if you're one of the people that follows those creators and they're telling you a game's bad, like, listen to them and don't buy it. Let them spend the money and take that hit for you. Because Absolutely. At least they have all that extra money, you know?
Yeah.
Let's not do anything suspicious while it's watching.
I wonder what happens if I talk to this lady when I'm a drow. Because there's no reason to sit there and, like, shell out $70 for games that just don't work.
Absolutely, because all you're doing is when you shred out like $70 per these like broken games that don't work, is you're supporting these companies making these broken games, and then the companies get greedier and greedier. And speaking of companies getting greedier and greedier,
this mug helped me to escape. I say we stick a few holes in him. Show how great.
You feel a cold hand caress your mind.
I think it's time we talk about the last topic of today.
Your prisoner is one of the
a specific company that is doing something very greedy, and it's absolutely just insane. And that is Unity, because like Unity is being absolutely insane with what they're doing, charging creators on Unity 20 cents per download, like install, and honestly just putting their creators in harm, because that's what they're doing when they do this with 20 cents per install, because they have no actual way of tracking if there's any pirated copies on that. They say they do, but it's very clear that they're just going to charge you whatever they want in that instance. They don't care, like, they don't care if your game was made years ago, it's still going to fall under this.
I don't know what Unity's thinking. Like, do they just want to bankrupt themselves? Because that's how what I feel like they just want is like, hey, we just don't want people to use our engine to make games anymore, so we're just going to be like completely dumb about this.
Absolutely, because all it's going to do is it's going to cause game companies to, like, not game companies, but like individual people who are the people being affected by this. It's going to cause them to start developing on other resources like Unreal.
Oh yeah, you're basically just encouraging people not to use your platform anymore.
Yeah.
Because you already heard the Cult of the Lamb developer. He was saying like he's probably just gonna abandon it.
Which I do want to clarify. They did say that was like a joke. They're not going to just take away Cult of the Lamb. Like they're going to try to find ways around it, but it does still very much affect them.
I'm assuming what it'll probably do is switch to Unreal.
I would assume so. That's probably the best play.
So he's just cracking me. We're gonna lose this. There's no load in this area.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have challenged her head on like that. But yeah, no, that's just really foolish of them. Like, it's probably the biggest fail of 2023. It's just like, why would you put yourself in a position where you're gonna possibly lose all your developers, all your revenue? Like, you lost all the goodwill anyone had towards your company.
And it's such a shady way of going about things, because they could easily be like, hey, we're going to start charging a little bit more every time your game gets a purchase. You know, when your game gets purchased and it's made with our thing, we're just going to charge you a little bit more. Instead, it's anytime it gets downloaded, which means, say you have 2 computers and you download it from your Steam account twice, right? That's 40 cents just from one purchase from one person. But now, let's say you're the type of person who rotates the games they play frequently, so you're deleting and re-downloading games constantly. Say you like delete and re-download this game like 10, 20 times, you're racking up that price to Like, you download and delete a game 10 times, that's $2 out of that game. Let's say that game's charging like $10. That's 20%, not counting the Steam fees. Like, and then they're screwing over games that'll be on Game Pass that are made on Unity, because they're like, yeah, if it's on Game Pass, we're just going to charge you for we're just going to charge Xbox for every time it's downloaded off Game Pass. And it's like, you think Xbox is going to leave games like that that's taking money from them on their subscription service?
You're just going to lose everyone that like, because everyone will just switch to either third-party developing like things, like there are some, you know, games that already use them, or they're just going to go to Unreal. Because I've seen like, I was watching a few like indie game videos today, and I was looking to see what they ran on, because it was kind of to research this, and a lot of them were running on like engines I haven't really ever heard of, but like that just shows that like, if people can already like they have other places they can go, that's what they're gonna do. Because it's like,
absolutely.
Unless you're making just insane revenue off your game and you just don't care, but I don't see anyone caring when it's like it can be upwards to like 500K. And then with one thing you're talking about too with the downloads, is that creates a problem of, if somebody wants to screw over a small developer, all they have to do is sit there and download a game a bunch, and that person's gonna end up going bankrupt. Like,
yeah, and all it essentially gets like creators like that to do is to essentially mobile game their games and just fill it with microtransactions.
Microtransactions,
and that just is
or
bad
ads
for gaming. Yeah, and that's just bad for gaming in general. So like, because imagine you sell a game for like $10, right? And now you have to fill this game with microtransactions and ads just to make your money back, because say a group of people don't like you and they just spam download your game, or worse, your game gets a bunch of piracy downloads, and then you're essentially paying for that person's copy of the game, because that 20 cents still comes out of your pocket, but you didn't get any revenue from that person.
No, exactly. It's just a really bad way to go about it, and it's like self-cannibalizing almost when it comes to the business practice. Like, I don't know who they think this is going to appeal to, or what developers they think are going to just stay on board, but it was a very bad call on their part.
No, yeah, and the sad thing is, I was like interested in how Unity worked. Like, I had downloaded it on my computer. I was ready to try out Unity, and like then this came out, and I was like, okay, no, and I deleted Unity. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's not only ruining the current developers that they have, it's like they're ruining any potential future devs they could have join them too. Because now it's like, if I'm someone who's like, you know, say a young person interested in game development, why the hell would I ever be like, yeah, let me go develop for Unity? Like,
no, now you're just gonna be like, okay, I want to download the Epic Games Launcher and get Unreal. Like,
yeah.
It's that easy. Like, Unreal charges more out first, but now if you can count the 20 cents per install, it's way cheaper just to use Unreal in the long run.
Yeah, because it's a one flat rate, and then you don't pay again.
Yeah.
And this is just a greed thing, because a lot of these companies, they have no good basis, and this is one of those where it's just like, you're not doing this like because you need money.
No.
Yeah, it's very disappointing.
Absolutely.
I don't know, Unity, what you guys are doing, but you probably shouldn't do it anymore and just go back to how you were, because I've not seen one person like have a positive take about this or shed any light to where this could be in any way positive for anyone involved.
It's already, like, it's been pointed out to me, and I agree. It's like, even if you go back from this, the damage is done. People aren't going to trust you, because in reality, you're just going to try this again at some point. You're just going to do this again later in a different way. Like, you're still going to try to screw people over. So, like, the damage is done. People are going to leave. I think Unity literally has just ruined themselves. I think this is going to mark the end of Unity. Like, if I was a gambling person, that's what I believe is going to happen. Is I believe Unity is going to shut down in a couple years because of this.
And I don't mean it's
mark
sad.
It down that this was the end of it.
I don't mean it's sad in the sense of like, oh no, poor like Unity as a company. I just think it's sad for all the people that were working on or have made games on there. How many games will probably get lost now? Like,
and absolutely, and I think that that's why like most game developers, they need to, with how hard it may be, work on trying to figure out how to get their game transferred to Unreal.
Because yeah, you might just want to save yourself the headache of working with or for Unity at this point. Because it's, you know, it's that whole thing, like, if you gotta, like, basically pay someone else for something like that, like, I don't know. Like, at this point, the Unity might as well just be like, oh, to play our games, like, games on our engine, you have to buy NFT.
Oh, man. No, it's wild. And
it's like, up there with that kind of stupid...
Because Unity's used for a lot of games, and that doesn't even touch the fact that, like, you look at, like there's browser games made on Unity and stuff. And it's like, what are those going to do? And Unity's like, don't worry, that's going to still charge you every time someone opens the browser with it or refreshes the browser.
Yeah, they're done.
Like, how do you expect those people to make money? Like, they're a browser game. That would be like RuneScape. Like, that would be like RuneScape trying to charge. So, like, getting charged every time someone opened it when it was a browser game, you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
It's wild.
Goblins are known for their cleanliness. That is most gratifying to hear.
I'm sorry, they just...
May I?
You're right, they ruined themselves. I don't see this turning out in any way good for them.
I can feel a metaphorical demon.
I don't know who's going to step up.
Sincerely, though.
Safe for Unity. Like, I think Unity's just over.
So let's do what we have to do, then get out of good. Though, no matter. We don't.
Yeah, I just don't think they'll be able to bounce back. I don't know if like another company now is gonna like other than Unreal, if like another small-time dev company will be able to like step in and like take their spot, but.
You're not going to let this go.
I hope so. I hope it works out for a smaller company. That'd be awesome.
I wish it sharp.
Or we see more people go to the smaller like engines and like give them a chance. Not that I don't think Unreal's a good engine, but I'm just saying if you can't afford to go there and maybe give someone that's smaller than Unity, especially if you're small yourself, like you should understand throwing someone a bone, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are pretty much like I think Unity failed hard, and those are
Oh, absolutely.
That's probably in my opinion, the biggest fail of 2023 because they're not gonna be able to bounce back. Like PlayStation could technically bounce back. The MK developers, like it's a one bad version, but the other versions work fine. So like,
and they'll
bounce back.
Like, it's still fixable.
Yeah, that's fixable. Even 2K to an extent could be fixable as long as they don't abandon it, like WWE 2K20.
No, yeah, and I think we did actually do a pretty good job of going in order of like least to most outrageous.
Yeah, because I think, in my opinion, like 2K24 NBA was a worse release than Mortal Kombat 1 on Switch because at least Mortal Kombat 1 on Switch.
Well, like the best way to think about that is like Mortal Kombat's broken on one thing. NBA is broken on everything.
And technically, you can still play, like, Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch. It just looks bad, but, like, NBA is, like, broken to the point where it's, like, almost unplayable. It's, like, literally broken.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch. I'm just saying at least that, like, it still functions in every other capacity for the most part. Whereas, like, NBA just does not function well. Like, it's broken.
No, yeah, absolutely. So, I think, honestly, other than maybe the, like, PS handheld, that's kind of, like, that might be a little worse than the other two things.
Yeah, the PS handheld, that's why I said Sony itself has taken L's all year.
Yeah, I agree.
Luckily they can redeem themselves, though, also, because they got Spider-Man coming out, and I'm not saying that makes up for the $20 increase, but at least we get to play some Spider-Man.
Spider-Man does whatever Spider-Man.
Well, I think we covered all our 4 topics pretty well today. I think this is
a
good jumping off point. Do you have anything left to say, or?
Be as brave as you can be.
Alright, kids, that's it. Thanks for joining us here on Twitch. Remember to leave a follow if you are on Twitch. If you're one of the YouTube watchers, we appreciate you. And remember to subscribe if you haven't. If you have, thank you. I mean, we're trying to get somewhere with these, so thank you. And we'll see you next time. Enjoy, everybody, and remember what Mr. T said. I pity the fool who does drugs. So have a good one, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.